Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United versus Chelsea is only a couple of days away. If you're watching it on a Friday, if you're watching it on Saturday or even Sunday, it may only be hours away. But Manchester United are going to win this game of football. People keep saying, why are you so confident? Why do you back Mourinho? Why do you think the Manchester United are going to win this game? They're going to lose. The world is going to end, Mark. It's not going to end. You want to know why it's not going to end and why Manchester United are going to win this game? Because Jose Mourinho is our manager. And if Jose Mourinho can't win this game, then Jose Mourinho may as well finish football. And I don't think Jose Mourinho's got any intention of finishing football. This is personal. This is him against Conte. This is against his former club. This is at Old Trafford. This is against the former club who humiliated him twice since he's been back there. This is in front of the Old Trafford faithful. This is Manchester United. And if Jose Mourinho can't, in a one-off game, beat Chelsea in those circumstances, then what can he do? He's going to win this game of football. He's going to win it. We're certainly not going to lose it, because if we do, you know what? If Mourinho loses this game, the anti-Mourinho press, which has been there from day one, the United fans who don't really want him anymore, and everybody else who hates Mourinho are going to be all over it like a fat kid over cake. And that's not going to happen. He will not let it happen. Maybe in the past, Pogba and Martial have been dropped for a home game against Huddersfield, which we should be winning anyway. But this is Chelsea at Old Trafford. Manchester United have got to win it. Chelsea are 3 points behind us. By the time we play, Liverpool probably will have beaten West Ham and gone above us. So we'll lose. I mean, that's a significant thing that people aren't realising. That when Liverpool beat West Ham tomorrow, which I think they will, we won't be in second place anymore. For the first time, I think, all season, we won't be in the top two on Saturday night, which is quite significant. And I know it's only a game in hand because they play earlier, but that's significant when you've got a big game against Chelsea. So Liverpool win tomorrow, we drop to third on Saturday night. And that we don't want to be in that position for long, because we've been in the second position for a long, long time. But as I said, Mourinho will win this game. Anyway, let's talk about his press conference, why I think we're going to win it, how I think we should line up. In fact, should we do the lineup first? Or actually, Cameron Stone likes the shirt. Yes, I like the shirt as well. Thank you very much. I will back Jose unless he goes ape and abuses our physio like he did at Chelsea. Very specific reasoning, not that you might go against him, Mr. Exclusive, but there you go. Let's get real, guys. Jose isn't leaving until next season, says Maurice Reed. Well, yeah, look, Mourinho's not going at all. And Anthony says there's some bad breaking news that Bakayoko, Barkley and David Luiz are out for the United game. Yeah, we could have done with Bakayoko playing. I think second in the league with a real chance of FA Cup is acceptable at the moment, says Nathan Brown. And we need to score 4 against Chelsea, says Ian Curran. Look, I'm not going to... Look, we'll win, but I'm not going to say we're going to beat them 4-0. I think I'll give you my score prediction now. I quite fancy 2-0, to be honest. Right, this is how I think we're going to line up against Chelsea. Let's do this first, then we'll do Jose Mourinho's press conference comments, then we'll talk about what a lot of you want to talk about as well. Zed Jamie's saying Martial won't start. I was just watching MUTV for the press conference and I saw Andy Ritchie talking afterwards, and he's convinced that Martial will start. I don't know why. He also thought Scott McTominay was 19 when he's 21, but I don't think he's got any inside information on Martial. I've heard some people going on about 3-5-2. I'll be stunned if we play 3-5-2. I'd like to see us play a 3-5-2, but I don't know why that's suddenly a theory. I don't think we will. I don't think we'll play the 4-3-3 either. I think we'll go back to 4-2-3-1. And I think the reason we'll do that is quite simply, we need to attack. I think Jesse Lingard and Rashford will play. The reason I think they will play is because they played last year against Chelsea in April. We got at them and we hurt them. And I think Rashford and Lingard will play for that reason. Matic and Pogba, he spoke positively about Pogba in the press conference, saying that he was ready to come on and he had a good game, so Pogba will definitely play. Matic, obviously Matic is going to play. Bailly, I think, will have to play. I think he didn't play him on Wednesday night to play him on the weekend. Obviously Valencia and Young, we know Luke Shaw won't play. De Gea in goal. It's who he'll play with, Bailly. I think he'll go with Smalling. I'm not bothered if it's Lindelof, but I think he'll go with Smalling. And he's already said that Jones, Rojo, Fellaini, Zlatan, they're not back, and Herrera's injured as well. So it's going to be Smalling or Lindelof in that position. I think he'll go with Smalling. Going to the attacking positions, obviously we bought Alexis Sanchez to be a left winger, so he will play on that left wing. Lingard, I think, will play in a more number 10, but drop in and help these two. I don't think it'll be a 4-3-3. I think it'll be a 4-2-3-1 because we'll be looking to attack. I think the reality is, if McTominay plays, and again he spoke very highly about McTominay, but if McTominay plays, you cross out that player, and that at home is a little bit too defensive. So I think Lingard will play. We'll have the two there. I think Rashford's going to play because he's a local lad. He played well against Chelsea last year, and I think he'll use Rashford on the right, and then obviously Lukaku up front. So that's my predicted lineup. It's not what I think will be the team. That's my predicted lineup. Adam T says Martial will be on the bench. JD has said that Rojo will play. Well, he won't because he's injured. He thinks Carrick's going to play. And he thinks Martial's going to play. You know, I'm interested to say. Vans Matic says he thinks Martial will start in place of Rashford. Well, yeah, I would play Martial there. Well, actually, I'd play him there, and I'd swap Sanchez to the right. And I'd probably play Mata there instead of Lingard. But this is how I think Jose will line up. But I think it's going to be enough. I think it's going to be enough because the way we're going to get at them is speed, and what you'll get with Lingard is he will, you know, he's not particularly strong, but he will be up for it. He will dive into tackles. The same with Rashford, and I think that's what we need. We need intensity on Sunday. The crowd will be up for it for the first 5 minutes. It wouldn't matter if we got battered in the week. The crowd will be up for it. We're Manchester United fans, and regardless of whether there's infighting, unhappiness about the way we play, I'll guarantee you for the first 5 minutes, the Old Trafford faithful will be up for it because it's bigger than Mourinho, it's bigger than Pogba, it's bigger than that current Manchester United team. It's Manchester United for years and years and years, and this is Chelsea coming to our manor with a manager who's got more lip than anybody's had at any stage towards a Manchester United manager. Real proper cheeky abusive lip talking about mental health and things like that. So the crowd will be up for it, and Chelsea's a big game for us. Whether they'll be up for it after 15 minutes, 25 minutes, 35 minutes into the second half will be dependent on how Manchester United perform. If we play like we did on Wednesday, you can't fake enthusiasm. You can't fake the crowd being up for it. They'll chant, but you can't. You've got to, when the crowd will be up for it the first 5 minutes. You've got to cook them. You've got to keep them warm. You've got to keep it, you know, keep them turning over, and you do that through fast play, tackles, and everything like that. And people like Lingard and Rashford, they'll bring that. So I don't think Martial will start. Pogba will start, and I think McTominay might be on the bench. I think that's a bit of a smokescreen because let's not forget, whatever anybody thinks about McTominay, he's not ready yet. Mourinho even said today he'll have bad games, he'll make mistakes. That's part of the development. Does he want him to do that in a big game on Sunday? So I think he'll bring Lingard in and move McTominay to the bench. But McTominay's obviously going to play a lot of games over the coming weeks. Yes, Chelsea's strength. I don't know how Chelsea are going to line up, but they won't play with the three little men up front. They'll definitely play Morata or Giroud. We will see Hazard. We'll probably see Willian, who was superb against Barcelona. Got to be careful of them. But the midfield is where it's going to be won and lost. They've got Kante. We've got Matic and Pogba, both out of form at the moment. So I think Lingard will just be told to stick to Kante, really. Basically stick on him. And I think that's going to work really, really well. Suleiman009's made a contribution. He says there's too much pressure on United players and managers. LVG, Mourinho, Falcao, Di Maria, RVP, Memphis, now Pogba, Lukaku. Players need a less suffocating atmosphere to thrive. I would disagree. I think you're right, but I would disagree. Manchester United, that's what makes a Manchester United player. The ability to, when you're playing away from home and you're playing teams like Huddersfield, it's their cup final. Southampton, it's their cup final. No other club has that intensity, like you say. But we need to be able to thrive with that. Have to play and perform. Can't afford another draw or a loss, says Anaban. Somebody said to me this morning, would you take a draw in this game and take it to a good result? If we're losing 1-0 and we get an equaliser right at the end of the game, of course I'm going to take a draw. But as things stand now, I don't think a draw is acceptable. They beat us at Stamford Bridge. We're 3 points ahead of them. We beat them on Sunday. We're 6 points ahead of them going into March. That's a good gap to have on Chelsea, who are battling us for top 4. This is an opportunity. It's at Old Trafford. We're at home against the rival for the top 4, which is in doubt at the moment for all the teams battling for it. We've got to beat them. We're at Old Trafford. We can beat them. We've got the players. I mean, we're moaning about the style of play, but we're not actually moaning about, oh, we haven't got the attacking players. We've definitely got the players. Sanchez, Mata, Rashford, Martial, Lingard, Lukaku. These players throughout this season have, differing stages. They have been really good. So we've got the attacking players. We've just got to get them the ball quick enough. And the great thing about being at Old Trafford is we will have to attack because we'll be forced to attack. And with those attacking players, I think we can do great things. Alexis Sanchez hasn't really arrived yet. He's going to have a big game. Definitely going to have a big game at some point. And when he's one of the best players in the Premier League. So lots and lots to be confident about. Mr. Exclusive again says, I would only take a win. Welsh Warrior, how, Mark, do you think Pogba number 10 would make him perform better? I don't like Pogba in the number 10. I mean, open it up for discussion, but I don't genuinely like Pogba in the number 10 position. Gomez should be on the bench as Cameron Stone. He wasn't that good for the under-19s the other day, but injuries are a problem for United. Herrera's going to be out for weeks, gutted by that. Rojo, Jones, Fellaini, Zlatan still out. Mourinho would not speak about Conte, would not. I mean, I tweeted this a few minutes ago at Mark Goldbridge actually. The laziness of the British media when it comes to reporting news around sport is absolutely abysmal. What are they teaching these people? You've got Jose Mourinho in a press conference. He's probably going to take 5 or 6 questions. He's already said previously he's not going to talk about Conte. I think they waste 2 questions trying to get him to talk about Conte, which he refused to do. Snubbed the Conte thing. Said he's a good manager. Everything's been said. No issues. Well, there obviously are issues. He just doesn't need to do it in a WWE slagging match anymore. They don't like each other, and they will go tooth and hammer to beat each other on Sunday. Brilliant. Can't wait. Don't need him in a press conference to be asked about it. The damage was done a month ago, wasn't it? When Mourinho called him out for betting and Conte called him out for being senile or whatever it was. We know what's going to happen. They're not going to say anything more 2 days before. Mourinho's not that stupid, and also the club wouldn't let him do that anyway, because we don't want to fall into some, like I say, embarrassing WWE thing. We know Conte and Mourinho don't like each other. We know this is a grudge match. Bring it on. Then we get the normal Pogba question. Then we get a pretty lame question about Scott McTominay when Mourinho's already waxed lyrical about McTominay. What I want to know is, why can't somebody just ask a very good question like, since the signing of Alexis Sanchez, Anthony Martial's form's gone through the roof, gone through the ceiling. No, it's not. It's gone through the cellar. He's only started 2 from the 6 games since Sanchez has been here. You've not played him out on the left wing. What's going on with Martial? That's a really good question, isn't it? Another good question would be, I don't know, something along the lines of Luke Shaw. Been playing really well at left back, but you're still opting for Ashley Young. Didn't play particularly well against Sevilla. You know, why can't we ask a question like that? I know it puts Mourinho on the spot, and I don't really want to do that as somebody who likes Mourinho, but why can't we get decent media questions asked in these press conferences? It's always a waste, a total waste, and the Conte ones were worse than all. There was a good aspect to the McTominay question, though, because they did lace it with a bit of trust about, you know, is it important to have players that you can trust? And Mourinho came out with a very, very good line. I really liked it. He said, trust is not something I give out freely, something like that. You've got to, basically, you've got to earn my trust. I don't just give out trust. And what he said about McTominay is that, you know, he knows he can trust him. He knows he's going to make mistakes, but he knows he can trust him from day one. He's seen that trust element. Now, that trust thing is very, very important. But I think the way I read it, and I may be wrong, is that people like Luke Shaw, Pogba, Martial, they don't have his trust for whatever reason, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think these people have been and nicked his dinner money or anything like that. It's not that element of trust. It's just that I think when Mourinho talks about trust, and you can pick the players that he does trust, McTominay, Matic, Fellaini, Lukaku, Valencia, these sort of players are the players that he trusts, and that trust is basically to do with a brick wall and running through it. That's what Mourinho, I think, is trust to Mourinho. It's not about ability. It's not about being a fan favourite. It's not about flair. It's about running through a brick wall. And you may be a limited player like Marouane Fellaini, but because you run through a brick wall, that's what Mourinho likes, trust. Now, whether that's what your interpretation of trust is, I don't know. It's not for me to say. But it was interesting him talking about that, because we do and have spoke about many times about why does Mourinho have these favourites even when they're out of form? I mean, look at Matic. I was talking about Lukaku last night. I'm a big fan of Lukaku, but Rashford's not a winger. I think over this season we've missed numerous opportunities to take Lukaku off and bring Rashford on and get him developing up front. But it's that trust in Lukaku, isn't it? That to the last minute he'll just keep fighting. He might miss that chance in the last minute, but he'll keep fighting. And I think that is Mourinho's thing. It's not always about ability and flair. It's about, or fan favourites, it's about, are you one of my warriors? And in the dressing room, that trust is probably replicated and they stand by him, don't they? you know, interesting. I thought really interesting on that. What else did I want to talk about? Let's have a look at some of your comments. Herrera injury doesn't look good at all, says Andrew K. At the worst possible time. He looked to me like he was back where we needed him to be. And I know it was only 15 minutes, but he looked... I think it's because the midfield is so lethargic and slow that Herrera in there with that tenacity and speed across the ground, and he likes to play a first touch, as we were talking about last night. Yeah, it's such a shame to lose that sort of player, because the midfield does concern me. I mean, there's nothing we can do about the midfield now. It basically is, at the moment, Pogba, Matic, McTominay and Carrick, and we already know 3 of those players, tall, slow, not quick across the ground, and that is a problem in a game like this with Chelsea when they've got, you know, I don't know what the midfield 3 Chelsea will go with actually, but you'd certainly expect Kante's going to be in there. Who did they play the other day? Did they... Kante, Fabregas, and I forget who else, but you know, different sort of players, and that's why I think Lingard will come in and play in a 4-2-3-1, and Lingard will drop into the midfield with that sort of pace to try and get at them, because otherwise they could pick us off quite easily with us with the lack of movement there. Cameron Stone says he'd like to play 4-4-2 and make Sanchez switch rings. I know we are at home, but we could play on the counter with pace. Well, 4-2-3-1 is a bit like a 4-4-2. I don't think you can... I've said many a time, I think the 4-4-2 traditional with 2 strikers is dead. You get run over in the midfield. You can't ever have 2 strikers just stood up front anymore. You get killed in the midfield. One of those strikers has got to drop into the midfield, and then it becomes a 4-2-3-1 anyway. Eric Bain needs to start, says Callum Roberts. I agree. My score prediction, I said at the start, is going to be 2-0. Remember to drop a like on the video. We're doing really good for likes today, so please do drop a like on the video. And let's see if we can get 500 while we're live. Give us some of your thoughts. I want to know what your thoughts on this game are, actually. I mean, I did want that to be a section of the show, and you just reminded me. So this is my predicted lineup for people who've joined us a little bit late. This is what I think Mourinho's going to play. He might need to pray as well. I think he's going to play this way, and that's why I was mentioning Lingard, because I think Lingard in and around this area, getting at their midfield is going to be really important. Otherwise, you've got McTominay in there, and I think we become a little bit static. And at home, 4-3-3 around this area, you want to be more of a 4-2-3-1 and out on the attacks into these areas. So I think that's why we'll go with that. But give us your thoughts on the game, because I don't know. I mean, everyone knows my opinion. I just think this game itself is exactly what, you know, let's look at it in its simplest form. Manchester United not playing great at the moment. Anybody can admit that. Even me, who likes Mourinho, I can admit we're not playing well at the moment in our style. And yeah, everything would suggest we should be concerned about a decent Chelsea team coming up to Manchester. If they beat us, we're in a lot of trouble for that top 4 position. But as I said, the simple fact is, if Jose Mourinho, who is in a personal battle with Conte, you know, it's pretty much hate. Then it's Chelsea, his old club, who've treated him badly in relation to when he's been to Stamford Bridge and they've booed him and all that. So that vendetta as well. He's at Old Trafford. He's got to win it. It's a one-off game. With all that involved, if Mourinho can't get himself up for that and tactically do something about that, then what is he anymore? What is he? Who is Jose Mourinho anymore if he can't win these sort of games, which he's always been able to win? That's why he will win it. But I want to know what your thoughts are. I mean, are you confident? What's your score predictions? What is it that's concerning you? Because I've seen some people on social media today saying Chelsea are going to come and batter us. The Haginator says Mata's probably going to start over Rashford. I wouldn't agree with starting Juan Mata. That would be 3 games in a week for him starting when we've got Rashford, Martial, Lingard. You've got to have looked at that. We spoke before the Huddersfield game in the Cup. What a massive week this was for United. Huddersfield in the FA Cup, Sevilla away, and then Chelsea in the league. And we've got to, you know, we've got to be unbeaten. We've got to win the Cup in the Chelsea game at least. And we obviously drew in Sevilla. If he looked at that week and thought, I'm going to play Juan Mata in all 3 of those games, that's massively misusing the squad, and he should have used Lingard or Martial last week in the Cup. So I don't think Mata will start. Dinny Geeman says that McTominay will start. Well, there's a chance he'll start, but I just think we need to go a little bit more attacking, and I think that's what Mourinho will do. You can't sit... Look, McTominay played in a midfield 3 on Wednesday because we knew that we were away from home, and you know, a draw is not a bad result. But this is Chelsea at home. We've got to go on the front foot, and a midfield of McTominay, Matic and Pogba is going to be too slow and too static and too defensive. 3-5-2, Jose, please. Start Martial, Sanchez and Pogba, please, says Afnan. I don't know where the 3-5-2 is coming from. It could work. You could play with the Smalling, Bay, Lindelof back three, Young, Valencia bombing forward, Matic, Pogba, Sanchez. Yeah, you could do it, but again, I think that system has worked better for us away from home, and I can't really remember us ever doing it at home. If you think about when we used that successfully, it was in November and we had a lot of away games. So I'd be very surprised if we do that. I think we'll go 4-2-3-1. Mourinho record versus the top 6 teams has been awful of late. Pray for a win, says Ivan. 2-0, Sanchez brace, says Nikosi Maki. Poor 1-0 with saves from David De Gea, says Adam T. We'd take it though, wouldn't we? We need the points. I mean, I feel that this game is going to be a catalyst for Manchester United's season, because if we win this, despite all the negativity, if we win this game, we put a 6-point gap between us and Chelsea. We go back above Liverpool if they beat West Ham tomorrow. We're back in second place. And it gives us some momentum having won a big game. And to win the game on Sunday, we can't play how we have in the last few. If we play like that, we will get beat by Chelsea. So we can't play like that. So the win, it's not just about a win on Sunday. It's about the positivity and momentum we can get from that win. The players have got to stand up. You know, the players have got to stand up on Sunday. Somebody said it yesterday. This was all said about the Man City game and the players didn't turn up. Spot on comment. They've got to turn up for this. Mourinho can only do so much. The players have got to turn up. Tim Shannon says he'd definitely take a scrappy 1-0. Lynn Hall says Pogba needs to massively up his game now. Keep him away from Sanchez by playing Sanchez right wing in a 4-3-3. Lynn has picked up on something there. A lot of people are sort of saying that Martial's obviously suffered because of Sanchez. Don't want to get into that argument. But Pogba has as well. And a lot of people are saying it's because Pogba and Sanchez on that left side, they don't work well together. So maybe I would like to see Alexis Sanchez out on the right. I would like to see him out on the right. But whether he'll do it or not, I don't know. Johan says, do you feel Sanchez behind Lukaku, Rashford on the right and Martial on the left would work? Yes, I would like to see that, but I think it's way too attacking for Jose. If you think that you'd have to swap Lingard for Sanchez, there's no way he's just going to leave those two against Chelsea's midfield three. So I think that'd be way too attacking. I don't think we'll see that, unfortunately, but I'd like to see it. Sanchez versus Hazard, Dennis Young, yeah, subplot. I mean, really, it's Mourinho versus Conte. That's what it's all about. Jordan Whelan says 1-1 with Martial saving us a point off the bench. Anaban says, I won't take anything other than a real performance. It's about time we saw something to be cheerful about, isn't it? Yes, yes. This is the perfect game. This is the perfect game for me. The way we've been playing lately, even I have said it's not good enough. But I'd rather we had Chelsea on Sunday than Burnley. Because Burnley would probably just limp into it, the same football, nick a 1-0 win, and it'd be really lame. We know on Sunday we can't underperform, because we will get beat. Unless Chelsea underperform as well and it's just a dull 0-0. We'll get beat if we perform like we have done in the last few games. So we've got to turn up. So I think whatever happens, we're going to get entertained. And I think the subplots are brilliant. You know, Hazard, Sanchez, great. How do the midfields hit against each other? Can Lukaku, who's going to play up front? Is it Lukaku versus Morata like it was in the summer? That's interesting as well, because Morata won that one in Stamford Bridge, didn't he? With the header, when Phil Jones went wandering off on a stadium tour and left him unmarked. So, but really it's about Conte and Mourinho. They both like to be out in their technical area. They both hate each other. I think if they pretend to like each other, we all know it's fake. And that just gives it something. Conte won't say anything either. It's all going to be about the pitch. But I think any weird decisions, contested or anything like that, it's going to be great. And obviously we'll be live for the watch-along. Can't wait for it. Will your faith in Mourinho begin to go if he doesn't win this game, says Graham Stewart. Graham, you absolute beep. What a question. What a question. It's not going to happen, Graham. I'm going to play a straight bat and just bat that away. It's not going to happen. If Mourinho, all I would say is if Mourinho can't win a game like this, then the people who don't like Mourinho, i.e. the press, will be all over him. Because this, if he can't win this game with the advantage of Old Trafford at home, and he's pumped up because it's against his old club and it's against a manager who's really undermined what he achieved at that club, you know, and it has been very personal to him. If Mourinho can't win that game, then he's going to get a lot of stick, and he'll know that. Mourinho is brilliant because he motivates himself. He wants to prove people wrong. And that is why we were going to win. This is not really about Manchester United's season. This is not really about Manchester United. I have to say, I've got to be honest on that. It's not about Manchester United. This isn't. This is about Jose Mourinho and his war with Conte, and that's why we'll win. If I was just talking about Manchester United and their form at the moment and there was no backstory, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in this. But we will win it because it's but Mourinho is motivated. But how that will impact, how that benefits us as United is that we win that game, which is great, but also all the effort and all the team talking and all the motivation he's going to put into this game on Sunday will then stand us in good stead for the rest of the season. So it's massive for us, but I don't really think it's about us. I think it's about Mourinho proving a point on Sunday against Conte and basically could effectively get Conte sacked. I mean, I don't think they'll sack him before the Barcelona second leg now, but it will be massively undermining if we go and get that result. But it's all about that. So answering Graham's question, if we lost it, I'm not even thinking about that because I believe in, especially in a game like this, I don't believe Mourinho can lose because this is what he's been doing all his career. And if he can't do that anymore, then what is he? So I believe we will win. Mark, what's your opinion on us getting Alderweireld? I don't think we need him. We need a centre midfielder more than a centre-back, says the Haginator. I did an article on this a while ago. We won't be getting him because he'll cost too much money. That's my theory on that. Chelsea will play 3 at the back and we will use it as an advantage and destroy him, says Callum Sanders. Yeah, they like to play the bombing on sort of 3-5-2, don't they? Or no, Chelsea are more of a... I think it becomes like a 5-4-1 with them when they haven't got the ball, and then it's like a 3-4-3 when they have. You're assuming all the players like Mourinho want to perform for him. That's not the case, says Nick Andrews. That's a point. That is a point. If he's got to have the players, of course. You've got to have the players behind you. If you haven't got those players, you're in trouble. Andrew Southwick completely agrees with Andrew K. So Andrew K certainly seems Jose is having the opposite effect of motivating and having his players up for it. Well, a couple of people are picking up on that. If Mourinho can't... I mean, that's a subplot, I suppose, and it's an interesting one. Mourinho might be really up for this, but if he can't get his players up for it, then that's a problem in itself, isn't it? I mean, that could be the subplot if it goes wrong, but I can't believe that Manchester United players don't want to go on a pitch at Old Trafford wearing a Manchester United shirt against Chelsea and perform in front of 75,000 fans. I can't believe that for 1 minute. And I've got no time for players who do that. You know, there have been rumours over the last few years about dressing rooms turning against managers, and whether it's Moyes, Van Gaal or Mourinho, I don't care. The club can deal with sacking managers. I don't want players getting involved in that. I don't like that. Chelsea did it a few times. They did it with Mourinho. They did it with Villas-Boas. They've done it numerous times, and I'm not a Chelsea fan. I don't like to hear player power in the dressing room sitting down and downing tools. I don't really give a damn about the manager. What I give a damn about are the fans, and whoever the manager is, let it, and if it's the wrong manager, let it run its course. But don't start downing your tools because people like you pay a lot of money and put a lot of, well, it's not even about the money. You invest a lot of your, a lot of you in the club, supporting the club, and the players get a lot of money to wear that shirt. And regardless of the manager, it's unacceptable that you don't go out and turn up because of it. So you should always do that. He'll go with a Matic and Pogba midfield too, says Shashan. I think so. We've got to go on the attack. Ripley Edits says we're going to lose, but he's not a Manchester United fan. Hopefully Pogba or Martial score the winning goal. Is Herrera injured, says the Nut Licker. I wasn't smiling about that, it was the name. Yes, he is. He could be out for a number of weeks, says Mourinho. He doesn't know for definite yet, but he's definitely out for a number of weeks. Pogba must perform. Chris and Harry saying Mourinho out. I don't think you'll be saying that on Sunday night. 3-5-2. Thanks, Jack. Okay, yeah. I mean, they're obviously just plucking it out of thin air. If we play it, I'll be very surprised. When have we played 3-5-2 at home? It's definitely an away tactic. And I'll be very surprised if we used it at home. I like the 3-5-2, but the whole success of the 3-5-2 is away from home because when you haven't got the ball, you become a 5. You don't need a 5 when Chelsea are only playing 1 up front. You play a 5 at the back, then you're very defensive at home. We won't do that. And the thing is, there's a prototype for this already. There is a prototype for this. Chelsea, last April, at Old Trafford, dominated from minute 1 to the last minute, and they were the champions. So Mourinho already knows how to beat Chelsea, and he knows he's got that dress rehearsal. And that game, as we all know, was 100 miles an hour from minute 1. Press them, attack, and get at them. And sitting back ain't going to happen. So I don't see 3-5-2. Will Ibra play on Sunday? Says AW415H. Nope, he won't. Spurs fan Mad Squirrel wants a draw. And do you think Manchester United should man-mark Hazard like we did last year? No, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. They were champions last year and Hazard was on fire. They're below us this season, and we'll be all right. I think man-marking him would be a waste of time. And actually, have we got a player to man-mark him anyway? I think the only player I would trust in our 11 to man-mark somebody would be Valencia, because you've got to be quick. And Herrera is very good at that. McTominay couldn't man-mark Hazard. He'd leave him for dead, and Matic, and Pogba. So I don't think we've got the player to do it anyway. Attacking football is needed, says Ben Elliott. And the feeling I get when I put on my United shirt just to go to the shop, on fire, says Friend 2018. That's what we want the players to feel, isn't it? Stephen Dennis says Sanchez should play on the left. Martial's not as good as him and should play on the right. And did Pogba play last year? Callum Sanders. I don't remember. The only 2 players I really remember playing brilliantly, well, 4 players, were Rashford, Lingard, Ashley Young played, Fellaini played, and Herrera was brilliant. I can't remember if Pogba played. I can't remember. Matic played for Chelsea and he was terrible. McTominay plays, we are in massive trouble, says Andrew K. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. And when is Rojo back? No idea, Kato Ellis. But he did say that pretty much the same. Anyway, please do smash a like on the video, and thanks everyone for joining me at 2 PM. It was meant to be 1 PM UK time, so apologies for that. But Mourinho's press conference was 1:30, so I just thought it's stupid doing it half an hour before his press conference when we're going to get stuff to talk about after. So I knocked it back an hour. So apologies for that, but it was planned for 1 PM. We've got lots of things coming up for you over the next few days. The watch along on Sunday will be massive. It's a 2:30 kickoff, so we'll be live from 1:30. We've got some stuff going up tomorrow in relation to Chelsea as well, and Manchester United, live at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. No 8 o'clock show tonight, unfortunately. Can't do it, and if I did do it, I'm not allowed to do those shows anymore. I might do it on the Mark Goldbridge channel. If you've not subscribed to Mark Goldbridge, type in Mark Goldbridge and just subscribe to my channel. I may well do it off there. That may be enough hint as to why I'm not doing the 8 o'clock show tonight, because I'm not allowed to do shows off my phone when I've had that much alcohol anymore. So there's no 8 o'clock show tonight. It wouldn't have been 8 o'clock anyway. It would have been 10 o'clock. But if I do one, it'll be off Mark Goldbridge. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll have a video for you tomorrow. It'll be about, I'll probably be live around 12 o'clock UK time tomorrow, and then 8 o'clock tomorrow night. But thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like on the video before you leave, and thanks everyone for joining us. Subscribe if you are new, and have a good start to your weekend. It's going to be a good one. We're going to win. We're going to win, because if we don't win, everything I believe in doesn't exist anymore. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.